love you. One of the things that I hear, oh gosh, first, today's been fantastic. It's been so beautiful, and just everybody, I only have like a tadpole of a question left, because almost everybody's answered or asked and you've, oh gosh, and I've been seeing the world, you said in Phoenix something about Source looks at the world as if everything is its beloved, and I've been practicing that, and when I do it, it feels so good, and I've had like amazing experiences with people where, they just light up, and it just feels so delicious. But one of the things...
Or it could be that you're not lighting them up. They're already lighted up, and they're rendezvousing with you because you're already lighted up.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. And, yeah.
In other words, we don't want to give any of you the job of lighting them up.
Right, I don't feel like
just
I do
light
it.
yourself up. And they will or they won't, but it's not your job.
Yeah, there's no effort on my part. It feels so good to look at things, and even bugs that used to bug me, I can see them as if they're my beloved, because you said everything, and so I've been, loving bugs.
Especially the fireflies, right? They light up so well.
Oh, there. So one thing I hear is, I don't want to make it happen, I want to allow it to happen. That's a quote that me and my friends say, I don't want to make it happen, I want to allow it to happen.
Or you could enhance that by saying, in effect, I already made it happen with my desire.
Right.
And now I'm allowing myself to rendezvous with what I already made happen. That's a good way for a deliberate creator to blend that.
Okay.
In other words, my work now is to harmonize with the culmination.
Yes. Okay, because what I think I've done is I'll be in this loving, beautiful state, and then I'll feel very much like I want to take an action, and I can, with lots of actions, I take the actions, and then some of them, when it's towards a specific area, I think, okay, I don't want to make it happen, I want to allow it to happen, so I don't take the action.
Well, we want you to feel that, though, because when you're in that place that you acknowledge as alignment, and you feel an impulse, we would encourage you to follow it, because that impulse is a further manifestation. In other words, the emotion of well-being that you were feeling before is then exaggerated or becomes more specific with the impulse to act. And that's what we say, get into the vortex and then follow inspiration. Mm-hmm. And so you're redefining this in a little bit of too strict of way.
Okay.
And you can play it out. In other words, you can feel whether you're running away with it too fast. You can feel by the way it unfolds, but don't be deliberately hesitant in the spirit of allowing things to happen, because much of the inspiration to do something is coming from that broader perspective. You really, when we said to you earlier, do you think that we're guiding you toward non-action or toward non-stuff? And most of you said, of course not. You can feel that the action is all part of the delicious manifestation, and the things are all part of the delicious manifestations. So you just want to find your way of molding all of this. We would follow every impulse that feels good, that we have physical time and energy to follow. And when you get in the mode of that, you find yourself energized, and other people might look at you and say, how do you keep that schedule? But you're not having a hard time keeping it, because the inspiration is fueling you.
Okay. That's okay. And then the other question I have is, there's someone that I love everybody, but there's someone I really love. I love them all. I really love everybody, and there's someone specific that I really love, and I feel it's right here. Like it's here. I feel I'm in the process of it. And we've had a relationship before, and it all unfolded without us doing anything, and it was really good. But now I know what I know, and I feel like it can be delicious. But I also don't want to control the universe if the universe has something better
Well,
for me.
again, you're right back to the same place you were before.
Yeah.
In other words, if the impulse is there, follow it. These impulses are, you said the same thing in two different segments here, didn't you?
No, it is
it's
the same
exactly
thing.
the same thing. And so we want you, let's see if we can help define this question. How do I know when I'm allowing? And how do I know when I'm making it happen through action?
Yeah, I need a little more discernment, I think.
And you have to sort of play with it in order to feel it. In other words, it's a little bit of application and then paying attention to the results of that. But basically, here's the way that we would approach it. If you start with the premise that everything you want is working out for you, and you don't feel too invested in trying to guide the details of how it works out, but instead you're standing in positive expectation for noticing it as it is working out, that's a really good way to approach that. So what that means is when an impulse comes and you knew that you didn't conjure it, it just occurred to you. That's a really good rule of thumb. If you've been, it's a little bit like Jerry and Esther, or Esther and someone else would run into people and then run into them and then run into them, and commonly there was a conversation about stalking that would come up. In other words, they would always pronounce, "We really are not stalking you." But there are people who do. There are people who do plot and plan and position themselves in places to make sure that they rendezvous with things that they want. And things usually don't work out all that well for them because they're taking action rather than being in alignment. It's much better to let the universe provide the rendezvous points. And so if you're conjuring something in your mind, and this is the fine-tuning that you're asking for, how do I know when I'm thinking about something, if I'm plotting and planning and making it happen, or if I'm following the path of least resistance? And we say, by the way you feel. If it feels gentle, if it feels fun, if you feel eagerness, if it flows easily, then you know that it's the universe lighting up the path and you're just tuned in and you're seeing it with ease. So you can tell by the strain or struggle that you feel in the process. And you used all those words. If it's coming with ease, that's really the best indicator. If it's unfolding easily, you're allowing. If it's unfolding with effort, you're making it happen. And we know this is a question that came up earlier because a lot of people define their success by the hard work that they are offering, but you are limited in the success that you can achieve through that hard work and effort. It's much more powerful to allow the universe to reveal to you these harmonious components. Don't try to make anything happen.
Yeah, that's what I've really been doing, is really trying to not make anything happen and really just allow it. And I do feel like everything's working out.
Good.
And one more thing to just say, because you talk about all the planets being in perfect proximity, but we were just talking about that the Earth is spinning at, I believe it's something like 1,000 miles a second, and nobody's flying off, and we don't feel it. I mean, this is
there's a lot of allowing going on, isn't there?
I know, it's what I'm saying. It's like, this is freaking amazing. This is amazing.
And when you think about the effortlessness with which you do that, we would like you to apply that to everything.
That's what makes me, or the effortlessness of how two cells come together and create us.
And what's that all saying? That's all saying that a lot has been thought about before, and a lot has come into alignment before, and there's a platform of stability that you can trust and rely on as you carve out the specific nuances of your evolved experience. It just can't get any better than to be physically focused in this time and space, knowing what you know and applying your thought, and then watching the universe revel in the coordinating factors that are necessary for you to experience the fulfillment of it. It's just co-creating at its best. We mean that. It is. It's co-creating at its best.
Great.
Good.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.